It's the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast. After the Yankees tied the series up at 2-2 behind their ace and extend the series to a fifth and final game at Yankee Stadium tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So we get to Game 5. The Yankees, after the devastating Game 4, after the devastating Game 3, knew what Game 4 had to be about. It had to be a game that they could put in the hands of Cole and let him take him home. He did. Francona could have played it a couple of ways. He decided that he would most likely, although he hasn't named a starter for Game 5 yet, it'll most likely be his fourth starter who will be an opener. And then you can expect to see Bieber, Stephan, Karinchak, Clase, guys you have not seen. He did not use those guys. He did not use his big relievers the last two games. So they are extremely well rested. They will be able to go multiple innings tomorrow. It will be bullpen by committee. He set that game up. He set Game 5 up with the luxury of having Game 4 at his disposal so that he set it up. Now, he could have gone to a different starter today and gone to attack tomorrow differently. He decided not to. Not going to second-guess a guy as good as Francona, who understands his pitching and understands his club and has a team that nobody expected even to finish 500 this year, this deep in the playoffs. So we know he knows what he's doing. He has his bullpen, his very deep bullpen rested. The Yankees, I mean, after tonight's game, you got 7 out of Cole, which you got everything you could ask out of him. He wasn't overpowering, but he was good. And he was solid, and he shut the door when he had to shut the door. And then you saw Holmes, who we know is kind of steeped in controversy now because Boone kind of made it sound like Holmes couldn't pitch last night. And Holmes acted like he could pitch, and other members of the team acted like he could pitch. And then you saw Holmes tonight. But then, of course, you saw Peralta, who all of a sudden is turning into Sparky Lyle here and has become a very key member of this bullpen. And let's be honest, the Yankees are starting Tyone tomorrow. They're going to be in their bullpen relatively early, you would figure, even on a good night for him. And you're going to have to get a lot out of the Yankee bullpen, a very shaky, not deep, not very efficient bullpen right now on an all-hands-on-deck game. I would expect you would see Bieber. You will see all the big Cleveland relievers. Their closer, he went 2 1/3 innings in Game 2 on Friday. He can go that tomorrow. You have the other guys who have not given up a run in the postseason, who are available for multiple innings tomorrow. So he has a very deep pen. The Yankees have the vastly superior lineup, the vastly more powerful lineup. And Cleveland has a big edge in the bullpen. That's where we are for Game 5. Forget what this means and what kind of team will be in shape to take on the Astros. Either one, the Yankees or the Indians especially, will be big underdogs against Astros. The Astros are the best team. We know that. And you can't even envision right now the Yankee bullpen getting the Astro lineup out. We understand that, okay? We don't want to think about that right now. But that beats the alternative of going home. And tomorrow the Yankees will go home. They deserve to be favored. They're in their building. They're the better team. They have history behind them, okay? You would expect they would win. But if you're looking at this game realistically, you have to think Cleveland's edge in the bullpen turns this game into, at best, a 6-5 advantage for the Yankees. Nothing more. Nothing more. They have no overwhelming. They were an overwhelming favorite tonight with Cole on the mound. They cannot be that tomorrow. Okay? Even though Cleveland is not starting a bona fide star at the starting position, they are going to go very deep into the pen. They're going to use everybody. I'm sure you'll see Bieber. The bottom line is they have plenty of depth and plenty of good pitchers to put on the mound tomorrow. The question is, can they string their hits together or get a big home run from somebody? And that's what they'll look for. The only issue I had tonight was anywhere. The only issue I had was striking out Rosario on a pitch that was, you can't do that to a guy in a big clutch spot in the postseason. You got to be a better umpire than that. That pitch was way low. To strike a guy out on a pitch like that's criminal. You can't do that in these playoffs. That's the only big mistake I saw from anybody tonight that was outrageous. Okay? Otherwise, it was kind of a matter-of-fact game. The Indians went fairly quietly. And the Yankees are, able to hop on a plane, go home, go back to the friendly confines of the great ballpark in the Bronx and hope for the best. And that's really all they could do. I mean, they got done. They wanted to end the series quickly if they could and put themselves in a better position to fight off their nemesis. That hasn't happened. Now they're just trying to survive and advance, and they'll worry about how they stack up against the Astros when they move on, if they move on. And that's pretty much what it is. I mean, the changes they made are no big deal. I don't think they have to worry about the way really anybody's swinging the bat. It's all a short sample. Put your best lineup out there tomorrow. Put your guys you need in key spots on defense tomorrow. And just give it your best shot. And the Yanks, it will be all hands on deck. For the Indians, who are far deeper and far better in the pen, it will be all hands on deck. And, if they have to get an inning out of Peralta, I'm sure they can. If they have to get an inning out of Holmes, I'm sure they will. If they have to get an inning out of, Loizaga or Erman or whoever the heck it is, they're going to do it. And hope for the best. I mean, you'd hope you go out there and hit 5 home runs and make it a cakewalk. That's probably not going to happen in a deciding game. It'll be attention convention from inning one. The one thing that happens in these kind of games, when you're playing the final game of a series, every inning is its own story. You don't want to be behind even for an inning. You want to be in front every step of the way. You want to get a lead, and you want to just start ticking off outs. Then you want to try to extend your lead. That's how you play this thing. You go out there in the bottom of the first inning, and you try and get a lead. And you play it from there. And if you're the Indians, you're playing it the same way. Get a lead and start clicking off outs. You got to get 27 of them. That's the way it works. One thing with baseball, you can't hold the ball. You can't run the clock out. So what you have to do is go out there and get the outs. And when your bullpen's shaky, those are hard outs to get. They found that out on Saturday. Sunday was a better situation. And now they hope that Monday will provide them with a springboard into the ALCS where they can, as an underdog, tackle the best team left in this postseason. And it's been a strange postseason. Let's be honest. Dodgers are gone. Braves are gone. All right, you have San Diego and the Phillies in the National League. And you have the Indians and the Yankees looking to take on the mighty Astros, who, let's be honest, played 3 very tough competitive games with the Mariners. But they found a way to come from behind and win the games they had to win, and they played that crazy scoreless tie that they finally won with a home run in the 18th inning in game number 3. The Astros can do it all. They're a very deep team. They're a winning team. They have a winning culture. They have a lot of winning players. They have a game wrecker in Alvarez now, who has become, the Willie McCovey of this era. If Alonso is the Harmon Killebrew, then Alvarez is the Willie McCovey. He kind of reminds me every time I see him swing of Willie McCovey, and that is a very, very high compliment. Just got to get through one more game of Bob talking so much. I feel bad for Ron. Ron's going to hear Bob in his sleep because Bob, listen, we all know that Bob Costas is a very talented announcer. a talented sportscaster. Okay, I've known him my whole adult life, right? But he has absolutely just talked on and on and on and just droned on and on and on this entire series about absolutely nothing for the most part. I mean, please, just give the game tomorrow night a chance to breathe. Please, it's a Game 5. It's a dramatic series. It's a dramatic fifth and deciding game. Let it breathe, Bob, please. You've squeezed this thing for all its life, and it's almost like Bob's been locked away somewhere, just dying to talk, and now you can't shut him up because he just has not stopped talking for a second in the Yankee series. Not even a little as he stopped talking. He is just about everything. I mean, no matter what it is, he just never stops. So please, let the dramatic Game 5 breathe a little bit. And we'll hope for the best. Been fortunate enough to see so many dramatic Yankee postseason games. Maybe tomorrow there's going to be another one. It's been an interesting series. It really has. With twists and turns, it's been an interesting series. And the Indians, the reason why I think the series has been so interesting is because the Indians are so different from the Yankees. The Yankees have big stars and big power, and the Indians have a bunch of kids, but they have some talent, and they have some good young kids, and they have some really talented pitchers, and they have a great manager. And here we are in a game number 5. And Cole, and I'm not the biggest Cole guy, but tonight, I give him his due. He did his job. That's what his job is. He gets paid handsomely to do it. That's what the expectation was. So he fulfilled his expectation, nothing more. But we would have been killing him if he didn't. So a tip of the hat that he did. He went out there for 7 innings and did his job and delivered the Yankees to the 5th and deciding game. And that's where we will be tomorrow night as we head a little deeper into October and see if we can get the Yankees into a series against the Astros. And
you're listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
A team that isn't all that strong or a team that has plenty of vulnerabilities. Maybe that's the kind of team that's going to scrap its way through the Cleveland series and then scrap its way through the Astros series. Who knows? That's what's fun about this. You don't know. Maybe they're going to get hot. But first, they have a game to win in less than 24 hours. Or they can go home. And, hey, that's what it's all about. We will talk to you tomorrow after the Yankees either get ready for a series with the Astros or put a final nail into this season, which would be really a very, very strange one in retrospect. When this one's over and you examine it, it's a very odd season with a lot of twists and turns and some really radical highs and lows. And now we'll see what this chapter is. Could be the final one. Who knows? Maybe not. You've seen a lot of guys have their, think about it. Right now, you think of that team that opened the season so hot. Did you ever think then that you'd have Bader in center field? You ever think you'd have Cabrera in the lineup? Did you ever think you'd be relying on Peralta and Schmidt? I mean, so you just never know which turn a season's going to take, and this one's taken some rather weird ones. We'll see what the day tomorrow brings. Should be interesting. Have a good evening.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.